I don't think I have to give any introduction about the company. Mercedes-Benz Research and Development India, which is just across the street here. You must have seen the star rotating. It's 100% subsidy of Daimler AG in Germany, and we don't separate ourselves from them. This is the same company. Good. I got some introduction of the audience here and was already guided how to make my presentation and what would be your interest here. I try to put some things here. First, I do have to explain what I'm talking about it, so I will take a few minutes to explain the problem, the conventional approach, and the product for which we got this award here. And if there are any questions, I will take after this. So, what we are talking about, human body models, so it's basically a mathematical model which is later on used for simulation tool. And the question was, why do we need this tool? The answer is very simple. Way back in 1885, Daimler or Carl Benz at that time, first time put the patent for a car. It was called at that time a tri-car from Carl Benz. But 16 years before that, there was already first fatality recorded. This was the lady Mary Ward in 1869 who was a victim of an accident with a steam car. So the accident history is actually older than the history of automobile or the first automobile. Since then on, I have put some examples here about the accident statistics. Unfortunately, you cannot see from far off. It's the accident statistics or the fatalities in United Kingdom from 1942 till 2011, and this range is around 400,000 fatalities per year. This is the number here. This shows, the red curve shows it about Germany, and you have hundreds and hundreds of statistics available from United Nations about this. One of these ones is the key figure. So this says that the road traffic fatalities adjusted over underreporting. So in India we know it, most of the accidents or fatalities are not even reported. So this takes care of that. And if you see it here, 1990 till 2020, it is also a projection. This part, what you see here is Southeast Asia, where we fall in. If we are somewhere here today, we can expect it's going to double over the time. Whereas the first curve here is the developed countries. It's written high income countries. And if you see the width of this or the height of it is going down. So actually on one hand, when these countries are improving, on the other hand, what we call as our emerging markets, they are going on the other way around. There's a terrible need to improve the cars for this market. Although Mercedes-Benz has the stamp on it for the safe cars, one of our key selling factor for this cars is safety. We still work upon as much as possible to improve it again and again. Before I go into the approach, the traditional approach for safety is very simple. We use, or in fact every automobile industry in the world, as well as all the legislation and rating institutes, so the government institutes who pass the car to be sold on the road, they use the typical anthropometric test devices. In simple words, crash test dummies. History is also very long. Since 1949, the first crash test dummy called Sierra Sam was there, and it has been further developing over the years, and the Biorid is one of the latest dummy, and the Krabbies are one of the latest dummy in the portfolio. But there are some limitations with these dummies, especially these dummies cannot react. They are dead bodies. I drive, I see its accident happening, I stiffen. I do reactions, these dummies cannot do. They cannot represent a young child. They cannot represent an old 95-year-old lady whose bones are so weak that even in football hitting her chest can fracture her ribs. This cannot represent them. They cannot differentiate between male and female, although there is a dramatic anthropometric and biomechanical difference between a male and female. This anthropometric test devices cannot represent. Mercedes-Benz has a motto, real life safety, and for this we need something more. I just give you one example. I think somebody has to click on the video for it to play. Yeah? Oh, very good. On the left side, I think you have to play it. Yes, on the left side it's an anthropometric device. Here it's a real human crash at 61 kilometers. It's a volunteer test reported on internet, so it's not from us. But if you see, there is already a difference where the head of the anthropometric test device is still swinging like a dead object because it is dead. Whereas in human, he reacts and he comes to a stable position. Maybe once more. So look at the head movement. This is only, the whole body is restricted. It is only for the head movement. So that's much more further, and then he comes and he stops the human. Whereas the anthropometric device is still moving. Yeah. So we can go to my presentation back. Thank you. Very good. And the more Mercedes-Benz goes toward the safety, the conventional safety is well established. Airbags, seat belts. This is mass production in the development also. As soon as a new car comes, within days they can develop the airbags and seat belts for it. We call it their conventional safety systems nowadays. What we talk about is pre-safe. What happens? The car knows already few fraction of milliseconds before the crash happens, it activates the system. If you see some of the examples here, brake assist, which will brake much harder then it realizes that you are doing an emergency braking. Pre-safe, which will activate all your safety systems. Precise, new concept which is coming in, which will work well in advance. Or let me take the latest innovation which was presented with the S-Class launch, if you have seen it, the inflatable seat belts. Now the inflatable seat belts have an advantage that they reduce the belt source, they reduce the chest deflection, but the anthropometric dummies cannot be used for this because they don't have skin. They don't have ribs which fracture. Yeah? So there were a lot of challenges for us to develop, and that's where we started working on the human body model. And just to give you a feature, human body model is nothing but a mathematical model of a human being. A mathematical model which has bones, muscles, ligaments. I have some pictures here. A mathematical model where each and every organ has been characterized in a mathematical way by testing. A mathematical model which can be scaled to 6-year-old, 3-year-old child, 6-year-old child, 5% female, or a 50th percentile male, or a 95th percentile male. A 95th percentile means 5% of population is bigger than him. So a huge male, typically height of around 195 centimeters. Yeah? A human body model which has organ level, macroscopic as well as full body validated to the tests reported in the literature. You already see some simulations from the new generation S-Class here happening. And the advantage is we can predict we can do the biomechanical evaluation. So when we launch the S-Class, we use the simulation results in the presentation itself of this S-Class and showing the advantages of this inflatable seat belts. We were able to show, for example here, that the loading on the chest is much lesser, on the ribs is much lesser than in conventional belt. In fact, having this model ready, we can also use it for the reaction. When I react, we are developing a controller in C, which will actually put a human reaction back into the human body model. Not going into too much detail, otherwise I will talk for hours. I want to focus on the approach we took for development, basically. We knew it's a costly project. And yes, Mercedes-Benz puts money for safety, but there is always a challenge. There is always a compromise, which we have to deal with what we deliver and what we ask for. And for this reason, one of the foremost focus for us was that the HBM is based on application needs. Yeah? And as complex as required, as simple as possible. You can do PhD on every bone. Human body is so complex that you can do PhD on every bone, every ligament, and every muscle. But we kept it simple and complex as per the need. But for us, it was very clear we have to use it in the crash simulations. It has to be usable and performance enough. That means when you put the human body, not that the simulation engineer has to wait for 2 days to get the results. It still runs on 96 CPU in 1 hour. Validation. So when I have a human body model, I should also have a proof that this behaves like a human body, real human body. And luckily, during the Second World War, there was a lot of activities which happened in China, Japan, and USA. Japan, Germany, and USA, which is today also the base for our medicine developments in the medicine field. They were also the base for the development in biomechanics, that we have so much literature available on testing that we do not have to, or practically do not have to do much testing here. There's a lot of already available. Based on that, we validate them. One of the important aspect for us was also, later on, we don't want to be alone here. We want to go all together because it is going to be a huge expense, and it is good idea to share the expenses. And that's the reason, if you see, from beginning itself, we had a lot of university partners. So from here, Bangalore, we had collaborations with IIT Delhi. This is the only institute in India who also are experts in biomechanics and do biomechanical testing. We have collaborations with University of Strasbourg in France. We have it with TU Graz, Austria, and Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich. In fact, this department is the forensic department because they also do the same. After any accident, they also study the dead body to see why it died, and we also do it after every accident in Mercedes car. We see what happened, what can we improve, and that's where we came together and we share a lot of knowledge with them. We also have a lot of partners here, but nevertheless to say, the team here is what made it happen. And if you see, there is only one German here who's sitting in Germany. The rest of the team is just on the other side of the road sitting here. Good. Talking about the challenges, yes, on the one hand, I said there is a lot of material data available from 1940s, but the technology, when these tests were done in 1940s, was also of 1940s. There are no videos, there are no curves, it's just written documents. At times, this is a major limitation. When we want to develop a 3-year-old child, no institute in the world has the ethical permission to do any tests. When we want to develop a female, so as a company, we don't have this permission. So we go to universities, collaborate if they have the permission. But this is also a bottleneck for us. And another challenge is every human, take me, take him, his shoulder bone would have different characteristics than mine. His would be different, and American would have different, and German would have different, and Indian would have different characteristics. How can we make one model? This was the biggest challenge for us. Difference in anatomy and biomechanical tolerances between male, female, also based on the location. Complexity in the materials, variations talked about, and anthropometric variation in limited data. Another challenge was the numerical challenge. Because it's made up of so many viscoelastic material, the organs, they are not like steel, they are not like plastic that we can do it. There is no experience. We have to, every organ is kind of a PhD behind it to develop just a mathematical material model of it, hundreds of them. And to make this finally run into the crash environment, which is mainly made up of steel structure, was a big challenge. Challenge is also the usability and post-processing. So when we took over this project, so we took over this model from another company, it was only used by researchers, and biomechanical experts like us were able to handle it and post-process the result. We were able to say whether brain will sustain a subdural hematoma or whether there would be a skull fracture or not. But when we give it to the development engineer, he says, ooh, what is that now? What do I look for? Because I am a mechanical engineer. That's where we had to also develop some post-processing tools. For example, you see it here, which will graphically tell him that these are the zones where he can have subdural hematoma or the rupture or the I'm forgetting the name, the injury names of it, the skull, the shaking of the brain. So when you shake the brain very fast, the brain rotates a little bit different than the skull, and the connections between the brain and the tendons get ruptured. Good. Going further, talking about the best practices, I would also like to share one of the most important things we knew: this product will not sell if we cannot prove it that it's real human life. And that's where any modifications we do, any new product we develop, it comes with a validation report. We publish our results regularly. So unlike other products which we saw, they put as patent. Another option is publication. We have regular 4 to 5 publications in the most renowned conferences in the world for this product. And we ensure that every product which is released from us has also the validation base for it. Second important or the success story for us was collaboration, because with this we were able to lobby. When we go with so many institutes together, NHTSA, the TÜV in Germany, who are actually responsible to certify car for safety, they give the 5-star ratings to the car. Actually, they have joined the collaboration and said, yes, the future is with this product. If you see here, TUC is not mentioned here. TUC is called Thumbs User Community, and this model is called Thumbs Total Human Model for Safety. This is the cooperation we have formed by bringing all the automobile companies together, and obviously we shared our model first to bring them together. There was an advantage for them, but now this cooperation together will take this model further. And obviously it was a communication challenge, because even today, every year, we have to justify this. We heard in the panel before, we have to justify every cost which goes in. and you have seen the team size, you have seen a lot of testing what we do, that the cost is pretty high here. So this were also some of the best practices we follow. We meet twice a year the safety head of Mercedes to take his directions as to where he wants to take this product. He gives us guidelines saying, look, this is what he's missing, he wants this. And that's how we take this product further. And just to show you some of the last features right now what we are working upon in the next generation human body model would be reactive human body model. So if you see, this simulation is where he brakes, he comes in the front, and then he comes back to the position. A normal anthropometric dummy, a dead body, wouldn't have done this. This one is the lane change maneuver, just sometimes before the accident when you try to protect yourself when you come into a strained position, and then you still come back to your original position. So this is the directions where this product is heading further.